Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to be talking about Wizards of the Coast, and they filed a DMCA on a fan mod based on Baldur's Gate 3 using Stardew Valley. Now, we're going to be on IGN today. This is written by Rebecca Valentine. Thank you for the article. It'll be linked down in the description if you would like to check it out for yourself. The title goes, Wizards of the Coast apologizes for mistaken DMCA on fan Baldur's Gate 3 Stardew Valley mod. Now, I actually made a video on this mod, and it's an amazing mod pack, and when I heard that it was DMCA'd, that was shocking to me, because mods don't generally get DMCA'd like that, especially a mod that has this much original stuff in it. I know that they are using the Baldur's Gate 3 likeness, but it's all custom things. Like, they're all making custom art, custom models, custom things, and generally companies don't take down mods like this. Like, a full conversion mod isn't very common to take down unless you're like Nintendo, where they do that all the time, but most other companies generally don't do that, so I was surprised. But there is an update to this story that they apologized for it, which is good, and they took away the DMCA. But we're going to read the original story and then the update. Just before we get into this, I would like to remind everyone, please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. Once we do, I'll be doing a Q&A video if you'd like to check. So if you'd like to see that, please subscribe to the channel. I'm also do a thing called Two Buds of One podcast, also on the channel with my friend Alchem Games. I'd appreciate if you check that out as well. It's linked in the description. Wizards of the Coast has issued a DMCA takedown notice on a fan mod of Stardew Valley that adds Baldur's Gate 3 characters, despite the mod previously having been publicly praised by Larian Studio CEO Swine Vinicki, and now Sven. Okay, well, his name is Sven Vinik. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna call him Sven. Has responded by the takedown as well, as reported by PC Gamer. The mod in question is entitled Baldur's Village and incorporates Baldur's Gate 3 characters into Stardew Valley. The mod released earlier this month, and shortly after, Sven took to Twitter to praise it, saying so much love went into this amazing work, and it is an amazing mod. Unfortunately, just weeks later, the mod is gone. According to nexusmods spokesperson speaker T2 PC Gamer, Dungeons and Dragons and Baldur's Gate IP holder Wizards of the Coast has issued a DMC takedown on the mod. Hopefully this is an oversight from Wizards of the Coast, who often uses external agencies to hunt down violating content, and they will avert their decision, said the spokesperson. Fingers crossed for the Baldur's Village. Which is true, and they do publicly apologize, which is good, but I do want to say it's weird to me that the excuse of using third-party companies to do this to protect your IP is being used here, because there should be like guidelines or something like that for stuff like this. Or I wonder if this was a thing where they just blanket do this, like the third party company just does this and then they say, oh, by the way, we did this. I wonder if this was a smaller mod and not as much publicized on it. I wonder if this would have even happened. Then just today, Sven commented on the situation again on Twitter, once again expressing support for the mod while acknowledging that IP protection is tricky. Free quality fan mods highlighting your characters in another game genres are proof of your work resonates in a unique form of the word of mouth. IMHO, they shouldn't be treated like a commercial ventures that infringes on your property. Protecting your IP can be tricky, but I do hope this gets settled. There are good ways of dealing with this. And I agree. Protecting your IP, I understand, but modding on the PC market is kind of that gray area that it really depends company from company, and the majority of companies are okay with it, especially games. I mean, Baldur's Gate 3 literally has modding tools, same with Stardew Valley, so you'd think these two games are totally fine to mod with each other. But once again, it was a third-party company most likely, or external agencies, so they probably didn't understand that. But once again, I do feel like there should have been guidelines or something like that for this external agency, and it looks like there wasn't, or it was too broad. Free quality fan mods highlighting your characters in other games. Oh yeah, sorry, they're just rephrasing what he said on the tweet. It's possible this is part of a larger crackdown from Wizards of the Coast around Baldur's Gate. As we learned at the Game Developers Conference earlier this month, we're supposedly going to hear more about what the company has planned for the IP in pretty short order. So maybe this free Stardew Valley mod was somewhere in conflict with that, or maybe it was just mistaken. That will quickly be rectified. We've reached out for Wizards of the Coast for comment. And we will go back to their comment because they did respond and they did take it down. But I want to talk about also the new Baldur's Gate game that is probably going to be coming. And first of all, the things we know about it. It's not being made by Larian Studios, which means I hope to God, please, Wizards of the Coast, do not make Baldur's Gate 4. Don't. Please don't. Baldur's Gate 3 is the last one. Do not make a sequel to Baldur's Gate 3. You can keep using the Baldur's Gate IP because that IP is insane and has tons of potential with all types of games and all different types of genres, but not a Baldur's Gate 4. Because if you make a Baldur's Gate 4, it doesn't matter how amazing the game is, it's not going to be considered as good as Baldur's Gate 3, especially if Larian Studios isn't working on it. Even if they were working on it, I don't think they could really one-up themselves. Like, there is no one-upping of Baldur's Gate 3 in the same world. Other games in the genre could potentially one-up Baldur's Gate 3. The potential. There's always potential. But Baldur's Gate 4 I don't think can, because you're in the same restrictions of what people want from a new Baldur's Gate game. So I think having a new game in the Baldur's Gate using the IP, totally fine with. Whatever you want to do. Do not make Baldur's Gate 4. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure they're going to make Baldur's Gate 4 because Wizards of the Coast aren't exactly the smartest people sometimes, and hands are forced sometimes with Hasbro as well. I don't know how much Hasbro is influenced by can influence Wizards of the Coast by doing anything, but Wizards of the Coast also has been gutted that a lot of the people that made the deal for Baldur's Gate 3 to happen aren't even in the company. So who knows when it comes to like what they're actually going to be doing with this. So the update is Wizards of the Coast has issued a statement on the DMCA from earlier today saying that it was happened in error and apologizing for the situation. The Baldur's Village DMCA takedown was issued mistakenly. We are sorry about that, the statement reads. We are in the process of fixing that now so fans and the Stardew community can continue to enjoy this great mod. At the time of this update, the mod was still under review, but it seems like it will likely be rectified shortly. And since this article has been published, it's back. Baldur's Village is back on the nexusmod page. And it's just all perfectly here with all the stuff, which is great. So I'm glad that Wizards of the Coast did acknowledge that it was a mistake. I hope whatever they're doing internally to make it so this doesn't happen again, because Wizards of the Coast needs better PR moves. And if this was on purpose, that would have been a disaster. But at least they acknowledged that it was, and they apologized for it. And they're apparently fixing whatever messed up in the process, which is great. But because Wizards of the Coast needs better things happening more recently. And hopefully this is the start of something that will be like that. I'm not entirely sure that it will continue this way. Because like I said before, I'm pretty sure they're going to try to make Baldur's Gate 4. And I feel bad for anyone that is going to be put in that position because you're doomed for failure. Like that, you are not going to pass Baldur's Gate 3 with any amount of ease to it. Like, I don't want to say it's impossible, but it's like a 99% chance of you failing trying to be better than Baldur's Gate 3 in people's mind. So I really hope that the new game that they've been talking about and they're going to be announcing soon is not Baldur's Gate 4, and it's just in the Baldur's Gate universe, because Baldur's Gate has a great universe. And one of the biggest problems I have with Wizards of the Coast and D&D in general is that they've taken so much time to not talk about the stuff that they've created. So I think that it'll be great time to actually develop the world of Baldur's Gate even more so. Because honestly, I don't even know what world the Baldur's Gate world is set in. Is it Forgotten Realms? I think it's Forgotten Realms. I actually don't know, which is hilarious because I'm a D&D nerd through and through, and I actually don't know where Baldur's Gate is set. So that's hilarious in my opinion. I don't remember where it's set. So because like they don't talk about it and they haven't really done a lot in the world. So hopefully they do. And hey, I'm glad that the mod is back. It's a great mod. I've seen it. I've seen people play it. I personally am not huge into the Stardew Valley modding scene myself. I do play Stardew Valley, but I've never really modded it. But it looked really fun and I enjoy Stardew Valley. Maybe I'll play it one day, but I'm glad it's back. Thank you everyone for watching today's video. I really appreciate it. If you'd like to check me out on other things, I do a podcast called 2 Buds 1 Podcast. Please check that out. I stream on Twitch and I post on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Threads if you'd like to check out any of those social media platforms. Thank you everyone for watching today's video, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye everyone.